Paul Heyman, the always unpredictable. Some people call you the mad scientist of professional wrestling. It's an honor to have you on the show, really, because I grew up in the Philadelphia area, and I mean, you really shaped how I looked at professional wrestling with the ECW. I was at every show, and one of my fondest memories at the ECW Arena was when you were out center ring, crowd was going wild, and there was a young lady, scantily clad. She decided to pull her shirt down.
They'll think I'm Irish.
Interrupting the show.
Yes.
And you stopped the show. You said, "All right, show us what you got."
Yeah.
And she showed us, and then you said, okay, on with the show, and now she's going to be removed. You kicked her out.
Yes.
Do you remember this interaction?
Yes, her implants were not impressive to me, so we got rid of her.
It's the way it goes. Now, this Sunday you have Brock Lesnar versus Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 29. No. I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H with Paul Heyman. No, I wouldn't either. He would crush you. He would crush me. He'd crush anybody. That's the point. I'm almost nervous for Triple H.
You should be. Triple H has a lot to be worried about.
Now, do you think that when you go out there against Triple H, obviously, I mean, it's no secret, he's high up in the company.
Yes.
Is Brock scared to hurt him, or are you scared to be involved with him? You have to go a little easier on him, or what are you going to do?
No, I'll end up the COO of WWE within the next 6 months because of this match.
You really believe that?
Well, let's just take a look at it now, okay? Brock Lesnar goes out to the ring, he crushes Triple H, right? Triple H has to retire, okay? Now Triple H is going to spend 24/7 at home, and Stephanie's going to get sick of him, or he'll get sick of Stephanie. They'll end up having a divorce. It happens in life. It's a tragedy. It happens. Now they need a new heir apparent. Vince will have no one else but to come to me, and I will become the new COO of WWE.
So you're going to marry Stephanie McMahon?
I will become the new COO of WWE, and I will give her a great parachute package to exit from the company.
Well, if this was Paul Heyman's WWE, what would you do differently?
I'd fire the McMahons immediately.
Wow, okay. Well, you have, like I said, two of the biggest matches at WrestleMania. Also, CM Punk taking on The Undertaker, going for the streak. Some people think he's going to win, others don't. Nobody has made The Undertaker fall yet. Why can CM Punk make The Undertaker fall?
Because he's CM Punk. He's the best in the world. This is what he does. CM Punk has defied the odds from day one. They didn't want him in WWE. They sent him down to developmental with the instructions for me to fire him. I wouldn't fire him. He wasn't supposed to be on the main roster, so I brought him up to the new ECW with me. He wasn't supposed to be WWE champion, so he was WWE champion for 434 consecutive days, the longest reign of the past 25 years. Everything CM Punk has done is to defy the odds. The odds are against CM Punk. Undertaker's 20-0. No one has defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Enter CM Punk.
Now, what did you see in CM Punk when you believed in him from the beginning? What was it that you saw? They call it the it factor, but what was your first time where you said, this guy has something?
How could you look at CM Punk and not think that he has the it factor? I don't think I'm any great visionary or genius because I saw something in CM Punk. I think everyone else is a stupid schmuck for not seeing it in CM Punk. They're blind. I mean, truly, they're, you know, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And if you can't spot that CM Punk is magic the moment he walks in the door, then you're reading a playbook from an antiquated writer.
Okay. So with Brock Lesnar, you have a relationship that not many people have. Not many people get close to him. You helped him write his book, correct?
Right.
Explain how that relationship came about.
I'm Brock Lesnar's Jew.
Really? What's that mean?
I get to speak to the public for Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar does not like people.
Really?
Yeah, and I just desperately don't ever want to have a real job in my life, and I have a certain hustle to me. Yeah. So, so, you know, I'm Brock Lesnar's Jew, and very happy to be, by the way.
That's good. Now, you've been doing this for a long time, and I just wonder, when you started to get into it, what was your first wrestling memory? Everyone has that first memory. I can't remember mine. I've tried. What's your first one?
Fan? Yes. As a fan, my first memory was Argentina, Apollo, and Luis Martinez against the Love Brothers in Eddie Einhorn's IWA in 1975.
Wow, that's going back, man. And what grabbed you and drew you in and made you say, I want to do this?
The very next week, they were replaced on television by Vince McMahon's father's television show, and I saw superstar Billy Graham do an interview, and I was blown away by it. And I realized that that man does not work for a living, and I said, I don't want to work for a living either. I want to talk I can't say that, right? It's not satellite. I mean, we're not live?
No, we're not live.
You can bleep. You can beat me, bleep me, bleep, beep. Well, so I don't even have to really curse. I could say I want to talk blah on TV, and you can bleep it so people think I said something really bad, right? Okay, so I saw Superstar Billy Graham, and I said I want to talk shit on TV like Superstar Billy Graham. And that's what I get to do for a living now.
You're making a career out of that now. What about you talking the shit beep that you say you're talking? Where's that come from? Like, was there, other than Superstar Billy Graham, was there your promos are probably the best I've ever seen in my life. Since your WCW days, I was in love with them. Where did that? Is that just you know how to run your mouth, or does that come from somewhere? Where do you draw from?
My father was a personal injury attorney in the Bronx. I can bullshit with the best of them.
Well, your father did that. So was he like flipped out when you went into wrestling and when ECW started and all?
Oh no, actually, I think he viewed it as a natural progression for on just how fucked up our family is. And for those of you who are wondering why I was bleeped, I said wonderful. And my father supported me in anything that I wanted to do. I am the schmuck son of two extraordinary parents, and I'm just BSing my way through life so I don't have to punch a clock.
That's the way to do it. I mean, the schmuck son done well, so well, in fact, that you owned your own company, and now you're at WrestleMania 29. Now, when you owned your own company, who do you think was your greatest ECW creation at that time? Who was the guy that you said, this is who I'd want to be remembered for if you could pick one?
The ECW audience itself.
Is it because they were the product? I mean, they wore the shirts. They didn't wear...
The audience was the biggest star. We played to them, and for a reason. They were the greatest performers that we had. I mean, who else would have thought of actually chanting the name of the promotion? We didn't come up with that. They did. Who else thought of then screaming out the name of the company and literally fighting our battles for us? We didn't ask them to do it. They volunteered to. We didn't get on pay-per-view on our own merits. We got on pay-per-view because the audience got us on. The greatest creation of ECW was the ECW audience.
That's actually a really good answer, because I thought you were going to say like Raven or somebody.
See, that always bothers me when people tell me I have a really good answer. It's like all my other answers sucked, and that one happened to be good. It's like they're surprised when I give, hey, that was actually really
it's not.
good.
No, it's not that it was good. It's not that it was good. You swerved me because I didn't think you were going to say that. I was looking for a wrestler name, but that makes sense. I didn't think about that. That means you're brilliant. That's what I'm trying to tell you here.
So you're surprised by my brilliance?
Maybe
So you thought I'd show up here and be stupid?
No, actually, I did kind of think that. When you're walking by, you got a look on you, kind of. But you're not stupid at all. Come on, let's be real. I think that the fans were the creation, but in ECW, what was the point where you realized as a businessman, this has legs and I'm going to kick some butt? Was there a point?
The moment the fans chanted the name of the promotion, and that's when I realized, wow, we're onto something here, and we're going to take off like a rocket ship.
This man, I can tell you, because I used to go when I was younger, was a god. And you would stand up on that stage, and they'd say, "Thank you, Paul," and you would just stand there. And
I'm not a god now.
No, at ECW Arena.
I'm a retired god.
No, he's a god in WWE now.
I'm a god emeritus.
They're not thanking
like
Paul anymore.
Like the Pope.
They're not thanking Paul anymore. They're booing Paul now. That's the difference.
Well, that's thanking me. That is thanking me. That's an appreciation of my work.
How do you feel when they chant ECW? You over that, or it makes you feel good for a second?
How could I be anything but flattered by someone acknowledging 7.5 years of a body of work? Of course I'm flattered by it.
That's good to hear.
I'm going to piss them off after they do it, though.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to them for actually doing it.
That's so refreshing to hear. And the other...
I'm going to piss them off?
Well, yeah, because I like pissing people off, too. It's the best place. It's not fun to be nice to people.
Oh, you have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
okay.
was getting a cheesesteak the other day. Yeah, somewhere else, but they won't sponsor me, so I won't mention their name. But I was getting a cheese and one of those pizza rolls. Yeah. Can't get a pizza roll outside of Philadelphia. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Yeah, you can't get a pizza roll outside of Philadelphia. So I was having a pizza roll and a cheesesteak because I was very much violating my WrestleMania diet, and they told me that that guy on 106 really sucks.
Well, that's...
And I knew you were doing your job well because you're trying to piss him off.
Yeah, I like this guy. You should be my boss. I might make a lot more money.
Are you seeking representation?
Yes, I am, actually.
We have openings.
We can talk a little later.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. One more thing before I let you out of here. When you were younger, I think I heard you talk about this before, and I've never heard anyone else really talk about it. Studio 54. You hung out there a little bit, right?
Oh, I worked there.
Yeah, didn't you make some kind of deal where you would
Yeah.
bring wrestlers in?
I was 19. Well, no, actually, I was 19 years old, and I brought in a bunch of wrestlers because I was editing a bunch of wrestling magazines. And the head photographer of the club that night, who was a protege of Ron Galella, the guy that used to stalk Jackie Onassis, he got really drunk. I mean, smashed. I mean, like gone. Okay, and he started throwing vodka bottles at the bartenders. So they fired him, and I walked up and said, I could do that job. And they said, really, you can? And I went, yeah, I really can. And I was 19, but they thought I was in college because I looked older. So I got the job as head photographer my first night in Studio 54. Then about a couple weeks later, they fired their public relations firm, and I said, I could do that. And they said, really? You can? I went, yeah, of course I can, because that's my hustle, And so I became the publicist, the in-house publicist for Studio 54. And as this was happening, Steve Cohen was a promoter in New York, very famous promoter at the time, opened up the Palladium. And he stole the Friday night promoter from Studio 54. And I said, I can do that. And they said, you can? And I went, yeah, of course I can. And so I did that too. And I started producing and promoting the Friday night shows as well. Hey, listen, if there was an opening at Studio 54, I was in her. I took full advantage of it. And I had the time of my life.
I can imagine. I mean, who did you see come through there?
Everybody. Who didn't I see come through there?
Any weird interactions you talk about?
It was Caligula. That nightclub was a porn set. Yeah. Insane. What wasn't going on there?
Was the movie very similar to it?
The movie was G-rated and toned down and was some Hollywood version of what love. There was no love in Studio 54. It was lust, sex, drugs, and disco.
So you had a good time. All right. Well, there you go. Paul Heyman, WrestleMania 29. Thanks for coming by. Last question. ECW Arena. No more wrestling. They've shut down wrestling. How do you feel about that? Do you think they should have shut it down when you left, or do you think that they have too many promotions running, or how do you feel about that?
Couldn't care less. No, why? Listen. How can I describe this? Do you really care who's banging your prom date from high school?
No, not at all, actually.
And why would I care who runs the ECW Arena?
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. All right, well, good to hear that. Now, Paul Heyman, North Korea, they have a missile pointed at us or something like that. You know about this, correct?
Oh, of course I do.
What are your thoughts on this?
We send Brock Lesnar over there. The conflict will end in about 30 seconds.
I agree. Triple H, will that end in 30 seconds? That might take like a minute.
No, we're going to give the people some time on that fight. We're going to torture him for a while. Make Stephanie scream and squirm because she doesn't get to do that at home.
Oh, all right. Well, I was going to say last words about the match. Your last word, but you gave me for that. I don't need to even do that. You're a great promoter. So last words for the Punk versus Taker match. What's going to happen? Tell the people of Philadelphia and around the world.
20-1. The best in the world.
Paul Heyman, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, buddy.